I got a voice note the other day from my buddy Russell Brand. I feel comfortable saying him, calling him my buddy. He's such a sweet guy.
Yeah.
Russell's a cool guy, and you know what the Lord's been doing in his heart is awesome. But what the Lord's been doing in his heart to the point where it's now overflowing. You know how people get hurt and they like bleed on people, and you're just like, ugh, I don't want to be around you. You're just like always bleeding on people, right? This is the opposite
from
of that.
From a metaphorical standpoint.
Yeah, not literally bleeding on people. Like I mean, yes, metaphorically. So this to me is the inversion of that. This is someone who's not hurt. This is someone who's healed. This is someone who's restored. This is someone who has freedom, right? Neither lawlessness nor liberalism. This is liberation, and then can share that with people that society would generally completely dismiss and say, ugh, right? And you know, this young lady, we've talked about it on the channel. There's some ugh, right? Yet Russell is able to see beyond that and remind her of something that probably people haven't reminded her of.
Wow.
You know, go ahead and play this.
Of God, that's what I want to say to you, that you are special and that you are sacred and you deserve to be cherished and treasured in every aspect of your life.
So for folks who don't know, who's he talking to, Zach?
Oh man, yeah. So she is
she did 100 in a day, then she did 1,000 in a day.
Yeah.
And so OF, fill in a blank. Someone said it wasn't, pretty sure it was 100, not 1,000. So this is not the lady that did 1,000. She only did 100.
She attempted to do 1,000.
She attempted to do 1,000. She was thinking about doing 1,000 and she changed her mind. Okay. They're both British and they're both, this is just, what? This is why you need better friends.
Do you know that about yourself, that you are special?
I guess I don't think of myself as special, just another girl. I'm not religious or anything like that, so I don't really read into it.
One day you will read into it, Lily. I want you to know that there is a path for you and that you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. And I know you aren't doing anything you don't want to do. But if ever you find yourself in that position, then know that there is a path and a light for you.
That's very kind, thank you.
You are a...
Wow.
Man, go to the, see if he posted another one with her.
Is there like an amount of money, an amount of success that you feel like, all right, this might sort of stabilize me? Or is this sort of revenue?
I asked the same question to the OF model when I was on Valuetainment. Valuetainment money. That's the same exact question. Is there like a number you're shooting for? Now, granted, bit different in her situation. It was her and her husband. Not the same as this. Still equally as terrible and unhelpful to society.
Remember what your pitch was to her?
What was the pitch?
You said, how about you just quit and you make like an education business for married couples?
Write books.
Where you just talk about intimacy
write books about
seminars.
Yeah.
You know,
you ain't got to do the deed.
You don't got to do the thing. You
become a sex therapist.
Just give us a Venn diagram or something, you know?
Go ahead.
Dream so abundant that you're not even thinking beyond it. They're just going to carry on doing stuff like this.
There's no amount of money that would make me stop or anything like that. For me, I don't feel as though I'm doing it for the money or anything. I'm maybe just like obsessed with sex and really enjoy my job, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I guess I'm into being like an exhibitionist, so I love like putting my sex online and people watching it, enjoying themselves to it.
Is there like an...
Wow.
Is she the same one that was like crying after she did 100?
She's the same one that cried after 100.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You don't enjoy your work?
Play the next one.
I mean, to be fair, if I did 100 hours of my work, I'd be crying.
You'd be crying too.
Just 100 hours straight, just, oh man. I just
no,
think,
that's not
the same.
That's not the same, bro. That ain't the same. I'm not even gonna let you do that. Go to the next clip.
Right.
Lily cried after 100. Yeah, I remember that. And you guys were asking me to react to that, and I was like, oh.
You were younger before I was married and before
We should actually probably hit it.
Had your kids.
Just in case.
Had your wife.
Explicit. Explicit.
Explicit.
Sorry, guys.
Children, I would have been happy to see you as an object. But as a man of God, how I see you is a fellow child of God. I wonder if there is any way that I can offer you some protection or service or counsel. You were walking around in public with spam on your face, and I felt like, where are we going, Lily? Talk me through why you did that.
I was just finished filming like a 3 with 2 guys, and they both finished on my face. So I thought it might be fun to see if I can go out in public with this on and anyone will say anything. Everyone in England's very polite and no one said a thing. That was kind of the reason, and not much thought went into it.
You were walking around.
Oh.
Darkness.
All right, I wasn't ready for that.
That's a critter.
That ain't nothing. Yeah, I don't know what to do with that.
Lily, where does it end for you? Lily, it's getting bad. It's one thing to do it in the privacy of your own home and on the internet. Lily, you're in a cafe. Lily, people are trying to drink their lattes and I noticed that there's sperm on your face. Lily, stop it.
Can I offer
Lily,
you some
it's time to
counsel?
quit. Lily, you need my counsel. You need Jesus.
The inflection counsel. Okay, listen. I know. Listen. Sometimes we laugh to keep from crying.
Hello.
And I'm not saying that as like a cliche thing. Like, this is exactly what we're working on with the Bless God Summit. We are trying to encourage, empower, inspire people to live God's dream with their life. And that looks like cultivating biblical worldview for day one. So we're talking about apologetics, why church. And day two, we get into the habit formation. So we got Trizzle Fitness. We're going to be talking about family, the home. Pastor Chris Brown is going to be talking about marriage. We're going to have Avery talk about being single as a young Christian man. And then day three, we get into the marketplace. So we got Lila Rose talking about how she built live action through protesting, nonprofit. We're going to talk about businesses being built, Christian artists like my guy, Nick D., like Ryan Pineda and everything he has going on, Dallas Jenkins from The Chosen, and that we're laying out a framework to go, hey, first, worldview, church, downstream effects, home, family, into our institutions, into the marketplace, commerce, nonprofit, building out ministries. Those are the things we're doing. And so anyway, that's happening March 27th, 28th, 29th. And if you can't afford to be there because it's far, you can't travel to California. I mean, I'd encourage you guys to apply for a scholarship over at blessgodsummit.com. You'd be surprised where we've been blessed to give away a lot of tickets as well. So blessgodsummit.com to get your tickets or apply for a scholarship. We also got the virtual ticket available at blessgod.shop. You can get that there. So the conclusions of a materialist worldview, this is what she's doing is not wrong. And I had this conversation when I had Jared on from Heliocentric. I brought this up. I said, is there anything wrong with this from your paradigm?
What do you say?
No, there's nothing wrong with it. And I said, would you be okay with your daughter someday doing this? And he said, no. And I said, well, why? He said, well, because I wouldn't like the public shame that she would have to go through. Okay, remove the public shame. You still, in your materialist atheistic framework, wouldn't want someone to do that to a woman you cared about. You would never want that.
Yeah.
Why? Because you know intrinsically, intuition pumping, that's what he kept saying when he kept talking to
Who's calling
Trent
this?
Horn, Destiny, when you
Destiny,
kept circling back to the idea of morality, intrinsic morality, knowing morality on a personal level. He kept saying intuition pumping. And so within that, like, you know right from wrong. You know right from wrong, right? Thomas Aquinas calls us the natural law. I'm going back and reading through C.S. Lewis's A Mere Christianity, talks about the law that's on our hearts. We know right from wrong. And so it's like, why do we why does our intuition, even if you're not a Christian, go, It's because we're created in the image of a God who has a way and a desire for us to carry out our bodies.
Come on.
So the only difference is, in the Christian worldview, there's a coherent and logical line. One man, one woman, one lifetime.
Yes.
God forbid something tragic doesn't happen. In a materialist worldview, there is no line. In a pantheistic worldview, or a worldview where you want the universe to be God, but the universe is not a mind. Like the God is not the universe is God, so everything is pantheism and spirits and whatever. But that God doesn't have a person. There's not a consciousness, right?
Yeah.
In that paradigm, the line is arbitrary.
Oof.
So you could have 50 partners, you could have 2 partners, you could have 100 partners, you could have 1,000 partners. It's whatever you feel. It's whatever doesn't bring harm. And so there's these false paradigms that people are viewing the world through that I think are causing a lot of harm, but they can't acknowledge that, no, in the Christian worldview, it actually makes the most amount of sense. One man, one woman, one lifetime actually is what's optimal for creating children and offspring, which is, from a materialistic standpoint, what is the ultimate point? To leave behind your genetics, right? To populate the earth, right? From that standpoint, that's the most optimal. Monogamy, safety for the kids, protection, right? From a happiness on this side of eternity, monogamy is the way.
Yeah.
Right? And so no matter which way you cut it, the conclusions of the Christian worldview are right. And this is foolishness. And so it's Romans 1 all over again. They've created, they took in the created and they worshiped it as God.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what's happening. And it's sad because I don't think she quite gets it. And odds are she's probably going to grow up someday, right? And then she's going to have even more trouble trying to find a mate that can tolerate this backstory that she has.
Yeah.
Not saying that she's beyond redemption, but like God's going to really have to send you a miracle to someday if you ever want to settle down and be normal.
Yeah.
You know? So
You're going to need one of those Shane Smith hookups, but the inverse.
yeah. Platforming this type of behavior and trying to prove how forgiving you are rather than calling out this behavior is hurting Christianity more than helping it, in my opinion. I don't know if I agree. From one standpoint, the grace of God is not beyond anybody.
Mm-hmm. There's also somebody who watches that there's a female that's watching that clip from Russell Brand on her feed that's got a 14-person body count.
And she might slow down.
And I was like, wow, that was heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even got 1,000 people, but I felt like that. I needed that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think media will show the extremes, right? So you'll get a Russell Brand talking to a woman that did 100 guys in one day, right? That's the extreme. But the message applies to the person feeling icky after 12 or 14 people, right?
That's a good point.
So it's
That's
like
a really good point.
there's the clickbait, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's big enough, it's crazy enough for a lot of people to watch it, but it's still touching on a human experience.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point. Yeah, so I don't know if people, because this is the flip side to all this. Let's just say she's doing what she wants to do. This is her choices. This is what she has a perverse, distorted view of this.
Yeah.
If you go a layer deeper than this, if you go a layer beneath the OF stars that are viral to the point where mainstream people are talking about them, what you'll discover, much like in the Tate brother situation, and I have worked with Exodus Cry and talked to them extensively, is there's a strong overlap between people who are trafficked, people who are manipulated, people who fall in love with someone that then turns into their pimp, right?
Thanks. Yeah.
The conclusions, we can't have the conclusions that just because someone's been ran through, whether it's their choice or not their choice, that they're irredeemable and beyond love.
Hello.
That's the flip side to this. It's for all of you guys that are like, yo, she'll never be normal. She'll never da-da-da. Maybe, right? And that's going to come with way more challenges. But when you say that sort of stuff as a Christian, you're ignoring the women that were perhaps trafficked. Some of them forced, some of them against their will, some of them, right? And so what do we say to those women, right? What do we say to those women who, and I think we'd be shocked how prevalent that is. Like how prevalent it is for a young girl to be manipulated into a lifestyle of this. And then she looks up and she's 25 and she's been with 500 dudes, 1,000 dudes.
Oops. Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? I think that's the part where like we can't be like, oh yeah, no, it's over for her.
Yeah.
Like the different consequences, lifelong therapy.
There you go.
Right? For sure. But to ignore that, I just think that's not accurate. You know, I don't know what percentages are trafficked versus aren't trafficked and whatever. I know that the percentages are high. I do know that.
Yeah.
I know that's one of the biggest pushes to ban, you know, the P-Hub.
Yeah.
One of the biggest pushes to ban a P-Hub is just people being trafficked on there and people are consuming it.
Hello.
People against their will, the stuff is like very dark stuff is happening to them. And we know this from the Sound of Freedom movie.
Okay.
That this happens to children and then they get pushed into this life.
Yep.
Right? And so, yeah, it is difficult to tell a victim from a volunteer. That's fair. That's why we should give grace. That's why we should have a heart of, no one's beyond the love of God. No one's beyond the mercy of God. No one's beyond redemption, even someone that's behaving in this way. And sometimes God will use a Russell Brand who's close enough to the mess himself, who's been open about his hedonistic behavior. So, but for whatever reason, what a Russell Brand, call it misogyny or whatever, he was celebrated in culture when he was behaving this way.
Uh-oh.
Right? Not to say he did 100 women in a day.
Yeah.
But had he, it wouldn't have been, right?
Had he publicized it.
Had he publicized, right? And so someone that's close enough to the mess, close enough to the darkness that could speak to someone and potentially try to give them an inkling of light to maybe pull them out.
Yeah, great point.
I think there's something to that. Hey, thank you so much for checking out the video. Please be sure to comment below and subscribe and all that good stuff. And check out this other video that YouTube seems to be recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right? I'll see you over there. Peace.